Oh yeah.
Yes.
Cheers. Shalom.
Excuse me. Live.
We're live.
Sure.
We're live.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Nice. Hi guys, welcome to the Puffcast. My name's Joey. Also go by Puff Mama. Yay! This is Johnny Rogers.
Johnny Rogers.
He's my co-host and extraordinaire. And we're doing our Paddys Day Special Part 2. And we've got some great people lined up to get interviewed tonight. I'm super excited. Anyways, before I get into things, I wanted to show off this cake that I have here that Lita Toy Bomb Noms. She makes the most amazing cakes. Holy shit. Check out this cake. So I've been the last 2 weeks been posting on social media that if anybody who makes an order with either her or myself can win a chance for this lovely cake. Look at this. It's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I don't think you can see it like that well, but guys, look. Is that better? You can see this beautiful divine. Okay, so it's like Bailey's chocolate in there. Look, just put gold on a Bailey's chocolate and little gold coins. Okay, I'm gonna shut up about the cake.
It's very detailed. I like it a lot.
Right? It just puts me to shame. So what we're doing here is that I'm getting her to make a cake that we raffle off like every couple months, and we'll theme it and just get it going, like get the good feelings around.
Excellent.
So we got this little bucket. It's not really a bucket. It's more of a planter. Little tickies going, little ticky poos. And I'm gonna get Johnny to do the draw. Yeah, because then it's fair. People know I didn't fix it.
Yes.
So drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum and roll, drum and roll.
At least the name is probably better.
Oh well, look who it is. It's probably somebody not even watching, but Lucy and Curtis, you won the cake, and I'm actually kind of excited that Lucy and Curtis won the cake. They order from me, every few months, but they used to come into the club all the time, like all the time. They were in there, and they were, just a married couple, but they didn't want to have children. They were just going to live their best lives and have a good old time. And then one day, and she's in her mid-40s, just accidentally gets pregnant. And they're like, all right, we're having a kid. And they embraced it really well. And then I didn't see him for like a year because it's baby.
Yeah, baby. You got to take care
And
of
then
baby.
just before pandemic, they just started showing up at the club again because the baby was big enough to babysit. And anyway, so I'm really glad they won this cake. Sorry about everybody else who entered the draw.
More
They
draws.
didn't win the cake. But I think because Lucy and Curtis have a daughter, I think the daughter is.
They're gonna get a kick.
I was like, little girl, are you kidding me? Rainbow cake every day. Anyway, thanks, Lita. Bomb Noms, look her up. If you want to get your own rainbow cake, all kinds of cakes are made by this amazing lady. Bomb Noms is spelled with a Z. B-O-M-B, noms.
Well, Joey puts that back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We need to get those subscribers up because we definitely want to monetize at some point. And definitely hit like as well. That way we start getting recommended into all the other comedy/weed podcasts. Once this lockdown thing is done, we'll definitely start being able to have actual live guests. But everything is kind of up in the air right now. I don't know if they said that they might be going back to another lockdown. I don't know, because the second that they moved into, gray zone, Trinity Bellwoods just turned into like a shithole again. And history repeats itself like last summer. So I don't know. We're just waiting to see on that. But we also have lots of other stuff coming. Like Joey started working on a merch page as well.
Oh my God, I've been OCDing all week.
Puff Mama merch.
It's been an amazing. Okay, so last night, even alone, last 24 hours, I did so much merching and stuff. Because this guy comes up with some great ideas. And one of them was this company that's called Redbubble or something. And what you do is you send them the art, and then they just ship it out when they made it. So it's basically like make to order stuff. What's the term again?
Yeah,
Anyway, so
Yeah,
then
made to order sounds about right.
sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah.
Print to order.
Some shit like that.
Okay, so all I'm
You don't touch
saying
it,
is that we can get my little fairy logo and all kinds of fun stuff. Plus I have other logos. Plus on top of that, Mike Payne, who's a comedian and also an amazing artist, is going to do some drawings for me. Plus a few other projects in the work. If you guys know a poem that I used to say at the club, called "How Much Pot Could a Pot Cook Cook and a Pot Cook 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 Pot."
Hey.
Hey, that on an apron? Come on, you guys want to buy merch for me? Anyway, take this bong hit quick. But the other thing, so then I got Googling and I didn't even know about this thing called drop shipping, although I've ordered tons of products from different companies that way, where it comes from like different warehouses, the products. And I found there's a bunch of weed wholesaler places that do drop shipping. So I'm gonna put a Shopify account together and people can get papers delivered or bongs. You know, this lockdown is gonna continue for a while, and a lot of people are, don't want to go shopping for whatever fucking. I just don't like shopping. I love delivery.
I was gonna say if they know anybody that like makes grinders.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm trying to look for. Is I want merch where I can do my own grinders. And stuff like that, but not where I have to order a whole case of grinders that made. If anyone knows that hot tip for me, I'm sure I'll find something. Slowly we will build. But yeah, we want to get the merch going and get the word out. So one of the things too I thought about too is an idea that we're going to do for April, because I wanted to do all weed related comedians and guests that are a little bit more prevalent in the weed industry. And there's 5 Thursdays in April. So I'm gonna do 5 weed themed podcasts. It will no longer be the lockdown series, because fuck lockdown. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that word. Yeah. I want something positive. And somehow I like the word reset. So we're gonna call this the Great Underground Comedy Reset. Fuck them and their resets. We're gonna do our own reset, okay? We got our own.
Take back the word reset.
Take it back, reset. We're gonna reset.
We're gonna reset
the
the word
world.
reset.
And I've got 2 events that'll be in undisclosed locations, socially distanced outside, but I don't want a bombardment of people I don't know. So basically, April 20th and 21st, kind of just reach out to me and say, hey, where's the party? And maybe I'll tell you if you're cool enough. Anyway. Yeah, but here's the weird thing. Okay, I need a bong hit before I rant about this for a split second. Okay, so what I did last night, I was on like 5 or 6 different websites because I had opened up the Redbubble. Then I opened up this one called Anchor, so we could like put our podcast to other places like Spotify and shit. And then yeah. And then we also opened up, I had to open a PayPal and a Shopify account and then a bunch of other things. Funny thing is today I got 3 spams, 2 emails, and a phone call about a package, some mysterious package that I need to do in order to get that. And the mystery for me is like, okay, which of these 5 websites
you motherfuckers
sold me out in 24 hours? Probably not. They probably got hacked. He just got whatever. Long story short,
it's a weak site.
Because the one I got this morning, and the one I got late this afternoon was like you have a package at the border and you have to claim it. Click this link. It's only going to be $1.25. It's that same email, just slightly different worded, different links, different emails it came from. But the one that was hilarious to me is I'm walking down the street earlier, just taking the dog out for a walk. Phone rings. But it's not like suspected spam caller. It's actually, just a phone number. I'm like, fuck, you never know. Sometimes I still get phone calls. And so I answered it and they're like, oh, your package is seized at the border. It was very illegal and you're going to be charged. You better click this link in order to what? Fucking get charged.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're listening. So I was just like, yeah, good luck with that. And I just hung up on them. But like less than 24 hours later, I get so many scams out there. My God, so many scams. Did you get a good one? Was.
On my spam folder, I didn't even look at it. It's atrocious.
It's the phone calls that are hilarious.
I don't-
These weird. I mean, we're all
Every now and again, I get the Chinese lady, or I get the horn that you want to cruise, and it just flips back and forth between those two. There's one
Yeah,
lady
yeah,
that
I
just
hear
called, and
those.
she's speaking in Mandarin. She's like yelling and stuff. And I don't. She's
She's probably not yelling. She's just saying certain words.
No, she's yelling. She's like pissed about something. I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know who you're trying to get a hold of here.
But anyway, long story short, it's
Those are
hilarious.
my spam calls.
Was this shit there before the pandemic? Because, or did just suddenly so
Oh,
much
yeah.
more is digital now that I'm just getting more of it?
I think you're just getting hit because you're new.
Fuck them. Anyway, don't fall for
They
it,
smell
guys.
blood and water.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it at all. All right, I'm gonna message our first
Have a
guest.
separate
there.
email. Here's what you do. You have a separate email that you use to sign up for websites that doesn't have your phone number linked to the account at all. So say if you have a Hotmail account, if that still exists,
I have Outlook.
or you create a Gmail account with no phone number attached to it. I bet you would get email spam, sure, but you wouldn't get phone calls. At least I wouldn't think. I would hope not.
I don't know. It's
Google's
just
like
hilarious.
creepy.
Oh, there is
also.
one thing. There is one thing that I did when I was just searching for an apartment. I almost, like, I did record the conversation, but
It's funny that you record
I
conversation.
I have this app. My phone automatically does it.
Records like
My last landlord was fucked, and I just never deleted the app. I just delete it all usually.
not in
But
this record,
yeah, I went to apply for an apartment, and it was like $2,000 for an apartment, but it was like a really nice building, and it was furnished, and I was like, well, I don't want furnished, but it was sparsely furnished, so And I emailed, and he got back to me, and then next thing you know, I kept saying like, okay, can I come see the apartment? Oh, I'm living in Calgary right now, so I can't show the apartment. Red flag number one.
Yeah.
So then
Look through the
he
window.
said,
It's-
so what you can do is if you
If you e-transfer through the door, we'll just
no, he
unlock
said
itself.
something about like I can go and look at the apartment if long story short, had to involve like an e-transfer.
Yeah.
It's like you
West-
can,
The words
and I was
Western
like-
Union came up.
it's just
Can you
e-transfer.
send me a money transfer?
Okay. So then at the end of this conversation, back and forth, I just said to him, I was like, okay, so I can't look at the apartment without actually sending you first and last. And you after get first and last, then I get the key. Like, but we can do a virtual tour. I'm like, it's not the same
No.
as like, what if someone died in that apartment and it stinks? Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on here.
I had no idea what's happening.
And he's arguing it. No, you have to understand I got ripped off. But I was like, well, I don't want to get ripped off. And we're talking back and forth. Anyway, so then finally I just said to him, I was like, okay, well, if you're not going to happen, then it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And then he calls me back and he was like, so are we going to do this? And I was like, no, if I can't look at the apartment, then I can't. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to send you money. And how do I know you're even the landlord? Oh, I could send you my ID or my this. I'm like, oh, that can be forged. I'm not good at telling that stuff out. And he's like, why do you think I would rip you off? Why would I do that? And I was like, because you're just ludicrous. I said, okay, here's what. If I go to the building and go to the building manager, because it was one of those condos that for sure will have building management. And I asked them, okay, what's going on with the tenant and such oh, I don't really get along with the building management very well. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm definitely not going to get. And then just because I had to, I noticed that he had a Calgary address. He used to live in Toronto, but he had a Calgary address. He said that's where he's living. He did have some kind of Western African accent. And his last name, when I Googled the last name, all came up Brazilian. So he had a Portuguese last name.
There's probably some
Potentially, Western African accent. And so I had to just call him on it. I was like, it's really interesting that you have a Portuguese last name, but you don't have a Portuguese accent.
Where is it?
And he was just like, oh, it's because I grew up in Canada. I said, you know what? I gotta go. I hung up because I was gonna burst out laughing so fucking hard.
It come on for so long.
Anyway,
Let's jokes.
oh well. Okay, so Keith said he's lined up to join, but I don't think he is.
No,
Fuck.
there's nobody here.
Did I send him the wrong link, maybe? Fuck, I'm such a tit.
Copy, invite,
Okay. Keith, I'm sorry. I'm like,
Sorry.
okay, well, I'm stalled
Keith's like,
long enough.
waiting.
Like, where are you, Keith?
Yeah, come on.
It's totally my fault. So we'll probably just send you a new link, I guess. Just send it through my Facebook. We're
Yeah.
gonna send it to you on
Yeah.
Facebook. Oh my God, this happened last week. What am I doing wrong? Anyway,
We'll just add in like a slight.
this is what happens when stoners run a podcast.
Yeah.
Who I'm sure if this guy actually did everything, but I don't want to put it on him. I'm like, oh, I'll do all this stuff that I'm terrible at. At least last week we fixed the link right away, but I don't know, once I'm allowed people over, if anybody wants to come and run the fucking tech outside of what Johnny does right now. Clearly bad at it. Okay, well, let's hit this bong. Well, Johnny rescues my stoner. My stoner ass and fucked up links.
There is a.
And just when I finished the bong, yay, Keith arrived. See, I knew.
Alright.
It's like, you know, when you're waiting for a bus and you're waiting
Yeah.
to smoke and the bus comes, you just hit the bong and Keith shows up.
Hey,
Anyway, hey Keith, how you doing?
Hey, top of the morning.
Hey, Swante.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, perfect.
How you doing? You wearing a green hat? Well, that's sort of
Got my bow tie on. I'm Bill Rye, the Irish guy today.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. I tried to dress up, but
I don't
look,
know.
I see my shirt there.
That's
It's
great.
my,
Fucking Guinness.
oh wait, I gotta move my Guinness so y'all can see the fifth.
That's amazing. I've been drunk since Thursday and wearing the same clothes.
Whatever.
Rock on,
I don't
dude.
gotta smell you on camera. It'd be different if
That's a great thing about COVID. You don't have to worry about how you smell. Everybody's got to stay 6 feet anyways.
I know.
And whether they have it and they can't smell you.
Yeah. Be like, hey, if you can smell me, you're too close.
Yeah, if you can smell me, you're too healthy.
Yeah, I got this shirt from Dave Martin years and years ago. He's like, I figured you'd probably want them. Like, oh my God. I've like one point where there's holes starting to appear in it. It's actually a really comfortable shirt.
That's
But
hilarious.
also I think it's funny because like, not now as an adult, but as a child and teenager and a young 20-something, I got in a lot of fights. So
Well, that's, I think, the more respectable version of the interpretation.
Yeah. Definitely. It definitely saves it for sure.
oh my God. What are you gonna do? Anyway,
Dude, we
I was
got
lucky.
congrats
Yeah,
on the weight loss. That's crazy.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I was really lucky actually that I picked the exact timing to line it up with St. Paddy's Day.
Why is that?
Oh, just it's the pain in the ass if I would have been so annoyed
Yell it
if I
off.
didn't. If I was like, Jesus Christ, man, it goes 75 days and I'm off by like 2 days. I actually was technically off by 2 days, but I wasn't gonna waste it. I did I did 75 days, but I stopped 2 days shy because St. Paddy's Day was technically
You
2
did
days
75
shy.
days no alcohol, you're saying?
I did no bread, no sugar, and no alcohol.
Oh, okay. You did the Alice Wood diet.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I'm just ribbing. I'm just ribbing another comment for no reason. That's like a fucking hard thing to do. I try to quit putting just sugar in my coffee, and it's like difficult sometimes.
Really hard. Once you get past it, like once you get maybe like a month or so into it.
Did you find doing all of it at the same time was easier?
I think for me it was, but I don't think in general that's true. Like, to be honest, I'm kind of a 2 feet in, 2 feet out kind of person. I'm either
Yeah, you're like a 0 to 100, right?
like 50% of the year I'm a complete piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever going to change. I'm just like slowly trying to make it so that the level of garbage is at least just a little bit higher, you know?
If I was a chick, I'd be like, "Are you a Libra?"
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Or Gemini, some sort of like
Yeah, something like
bipolar.
that. Some shit that goes back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So I like this setup, but you guys have it almost like it's almost like the weed version of the Tonight Show.
Yeah,
I like that. Thank you.
so that's a good quote to put on the front of something. I'm just like Keith Andrews, the weed version of the Tonight Show.
You just need that is a good quote. You just need like a music band that you can cut to every once in a while or something.
We should just pop some live performance stuff and
Or just a guy on a flute.
yeah, just turn the camera. We'll use the old Oscar cam. You can just sit on the dog bed and play the flute. That's our flute guy.
He's really hyper tonight. He's still whining.
Yeah, Oscar's loud.
Yeah, Oscar just
He can
howling
hear
all
your
the time.
voice, I think.
He can hear you.
Oh yeah, probably. Although it's probably a little raspier. I've noticed my voice has gotten raspier since I started this because I started smoking like 4 times as much weed when I stopped drinking. Because it was like all I had, especially with no bread, no sugar.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like my munchies was just more weed.
Mm.
You're like, I guess I'll eat an edible.
Well, it was because it was like I would buy snacks that were like within my dietary constraints, but every once in a while I wouldn't have anything like that, and it would be like, okay, I guess I'm just not gonna eat anything. And honestly, man, the biggest struggle was finding things to do, because it was like you don't realize how much of your time eating takes.
Yeah, exactly. It almost becomes like a distraction from boredom, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
well, I've got nothing to do, but like, I could eat. Like, there's always that, like, I could eat. Like, yeah, sure, I could. I mean, that just fills the time almost. You're like,
I got to a point where like I was so bored because I had nothing to do that when you guys were talking about those CRA calls earlier, I would take those calls and I would just let it go. I would let it ride as long as I could.
let it ride.
Like, I'm not doing anything else.
I just laughed. I was just like, yeah, good luck.
I'm all cleared up with them. I don't have to sit on one of those ones.
I like to slowly let them think that maybe I have a lot of money that I'm about to give them, because I like the idea of everyone in the office like all huddling around the one guy. And they're like, we're gonna take a lesson from this guy.
He's gonna go off of Wall Street.
Yeah. Like Wall Street, where he's at the penny stocks and he's just leading the guy on.
And you're on the other end. It's just not good.
Yeah.
There was only one time I fucked with a caller, and I don't know if you guys got it because you're not business. Do you ever get duct cleaning call guys or heard about them? Probably.
No.
When I ran the club, I would get them relentlessly, sometimes many a day.
Well, I work in a restaurant.
And so I would, I heard from a comedian. I just told the story last week. I heard from a comedian anyway what to do, and I did it. And basically, he said, just don't mishear it as ducks, and say, no, I don't have ducks, I have geese, and just keep no, I have geese, ducks, no, ducks, geese.
Explain it.
And I did that, and he got frustrated.
He's like, no, the events. Yes, we do events.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, there's a Calvin and Hobbes comic where somebody calls and Calvin picks up the phone and the guy on the other end is like, yeah, is your father, may I speak to your father? And he goes, yep, just a moment. And he puts the phone down and then he walks away and he comes back with a balloon and he pops it and he goes, I've been shot. And he hangs up. I used to do that when I was younger and then I got in trouble.
I find it funny that we haven't brought back prank calls in the pandemic. Now that I think about
that
it,
would be going
there's some bored people out
People are
there.
trolling online though.
I guess they get their kicks. It's not as fun as a prank. No Nicky 9 doors anymore. No one's even gonna open their fucking door.
I got in trouble so hard for Nicky 9 doors when I was a kid. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm sad.
I remember my heart just racing. We'd hide bits and chuck snowballs at cars as they went by. That was fucking terrifying. This car stopped, you gotta run. You gotta run, man.
It's kind of dangerous.
Oh yeah. Especially when you get that one random stranger parent who's decided I'm gonna teach these kids a lesson. And then you're like, there's nothing you can do about it too, because you're like, you just feel too guilty.
Yeah.
I never did that, but you know, definitely Nicky, 9 door. I wonder where that term comes from. I gotta look that up.
Some bitch named Nikki.
Maybe it was a
9
Nick.
doors
Maybe it
every
was a
night.
Nick who, you know, is it a ghost?
Or is that this? Is it trying to like put a word to the sound? Like I don't know.
Maybe it was just like maybe it was knocky 9 doors, and it just over time.
The guy's like, you know, it just doesn't sound right.
And now you only have to do 1 door.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 9 doors anymore.
The PR department of pranks was like, nah, we need to switch this up.
Oh fuck it. Kids are on their phones now.
It was German. It was actually knocky mein door.
Mein Door.
Mein door
Okay,
flop.
well, this is exactly where I wanted this conversation to go tonight. Exactly.
Kids, if you're out there.
Okay, well,
Don't
you
do
know,
that.
I was gonna just say, you know, 1 year into pandemic, and you know, how do you feel? What have you learned, Keith?
We made it.
We made it.
Well,
A year.
you know, it's funny.
Is this a milestone?
Last year, this time, I made a Photoshop cover of my face on a Ferris Bueller, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I made it say Keith Andrews' year off. I'm just saying I called it. We did a year. I don't know. I feel a lot better than I did last year. I'll tell you that. Last year, I didn't know what the hell was going on. At least now, I don't feel like the world's ending.
You look a lot better. You got yourself healthy. That's great.
Man, I had to take a long, hard look at the mirror first because I gained a lot of weight
You had
before I
quite a
lost
beach
it all.
ball in front when you were helping me move. Like your beach ball was in the way of helping us.
Oh, yeah. I could barely get down that hallway at the underground anymore.
I remember you saying, "That's it. I'm getting it. That's it. That's it." I remember that, and you did. So that's awesome.
65 pounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fucking A. And to your credit,
I have an ulcer, but I look great.
It's actually just a tapeworm that's get out later.
No, that was from the 6 to 12 beers a night he would drink.
Oh, that's yeah.
This guy would get off work. He's like, no, not drinking, not drinking. Wouldn't even touch a drop. The second he was clocked out, 6 beers. And I'm like, we haven't even done sweeping. He's on the
I like to drink quick. I just can't drink and work. As soon as I have a drink in me, I'm like, I'm sitting down now. I'm not doing anything.
It's
Yeah,
okay. You always had good work ethics for that. Always appreciated that. Fuck, we missed the club, eh? Cheers.
I know.
Fuck this.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't know if you heard earlier, but I'm going to start a campaign in April, and we're going to call it the Great Underground Comedy Reset. I'm going to take that word reset, and I'm going to bring it to us. We need to reset, right?
I like that. I'm in on that.
Fuck, I knew you would. And I have, for the summer, secured a weekly outdoor, very, good sized spot in the east.
Nice.
End.
In the East End, yeah.
That way in the east. So I'll release those deets soon as the venue owner figures out all the parameters. And,
That's awesome.
I found it, baby.
yeah, I won't say where it is because a lot of people will know where it is. So Greenwood and Gerard, anyway. So,
Right.
way east, and we'll get some more stuff going, some park shows and that. But fuck it, I think we need to reset comedy. I think we need to stop talking about being locked down and start taking, what we learned this last year and putting it forward, and not pretending that there's going to be more fucking lockdowns. Let's just live our life.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in on that. That's what I'm doing now. My roommate.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that.
My roommate the other day, we were sitting together. She goes, "Hey, did you hear that we might be going down for 2 weeks more lockdown?" And I was putting my shoes on. I was like, "Well, I'm not."
You're like, okay.
I'll get tested just to make sure. So I'm cooking for people, so I don't want to pass nothing on. But
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm being careful, but
God damn it, I'm kind of happy with lockdown. I finally got used to just being, doing nothing, and then but that's not true. I do a lot during the day. I
You're
shouldn't
like,
say I do nothing.
cooking all the time.
But not racing at the door to go to
You
a
don't
club.
go
And
anywhere
yeah.
shit, I better get in early because the toilets need cleaning, and I gotta go get some water.
yet. It's different.
Fuck, it's different work, and it's more at a pace that I like.
It took me a while to get used to the idea of not having to rush everything anymore.
Yeah.
Because I always had a sense of urgency. Every time I look at the clock, I'd be like, there's only so much time left in the day. And now I'm like, just do the rest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna need stuff to do.
Yeah,
All I'm
exactly.
saying is that it's gonna be a good summer, and I'm gonna make sure that you'll be able
Yeah.
to do it.
That's my
And
plan.
thank you for everything you've done for me.
Thank you for having me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't still be living in the city. So I'm
Aww,
very grateful that I got the job as long as I did.
we got you to stay. Yay.
Shout out your podcast.
Shoot. Oh yeah, you got a new thing? Sorry, I was just gonna say, you got anything you gotta say before we sign off?
I've launched my own podcast. It's called So How Was Your Day? It's with Max Sheldrick and Ezra Shetu, just two other comics from the city.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that. So how was your day?
we're slowly unraveling this toxic friendship that we've built, Max and I, and
You're both good folk. And
and I just think one day him and I will murder each other in heated battle at the top of Pride Rock.
Sounds likely.
And Ezra will be pleading with us both to continue the show. No, but it's been a big learning experience doing something online, but it's been a lot of fun.
starting is the hardest part. Once you get the rhythm going,
We'll check it out.
it was really frustrating for me to get this started. And although I still suck at it, I'm at least got a rhythm going.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is like just add a new thing every time, and then you'll always be improving, and then eventually you can look back. Like that was the big thing. We're on like episode 7 at this point, and we look back on episode 1, and just even in that short distance,
Yeah.
it's been like, oh, there's a legitimate improvement that we can see.
Yeah.
You guys have some pretty nice equipment. I've seen photos online.
Yeah, we lucked out that Max is a bit of a technophile. So he over the years, I said Max is a bit of a technophile. So over the years, he bought cameras and this and that, and then
Ezra has a lot of stuff too. And things.
I had a couple things that sort of supplemented everything, but the brunt of it was those two guys.
Good threesome.
Yeah.
He's trying to find your podcast online. Do you have a quick link, or is he found
Oh,
it?
I can I can pop it. Send a link right now.
No, it's okay. He found it.
No, there's another one called How Was Your Day?
How was your day?
I know that's what,
dude. NPR has one called How's Your Day podcast.
Yeah, but ours has so at the front.
I see. That's what I'm going on. So how's your day?
Oh, I see. Well, anyways, actually, when we Google, I Googled Puffcast to see if there was another, because it's such a cool name, Puffcast, a weed podcast. And there was like a few Puffcasts out there, but nothing to do with weed and comedy and Puffcasting. The one was it was a fishing show, and they would smoke weed and go fishing. So Puffcast, like.
Oh, that's a cool. Yeah.
I almost like that application better.
You're like, God damn it, you got something there.
It's a little more clever.
And you end up going.
How do you figure it's okay?
There's so how was your day? If you want to search
he's got it
that
up
there, you guys gonna Apple.
Support the kids that supported me for so long. Keith and Max and Ezra, you guys were always really good to me.
On YouTube.
The Sunday boys.
Sunday boys, yeah. I guess that was me. All right, well, we gotta keep rolling because we started late and then we babbled about silly things, but I'm glad we got that up. Is there anything else you want to pump, or just say see you on the flip side, or
nuke the whales, I guess.
shut up?
Thanks very much for having me. Enjoy your night, ladies and gentlemen, and happy St. Pat's, and we
Happy post Paddy's Day.
Put something green in you.
Irish Heritage Month. Or brown. Guinness is brown, and have some weed and it's green, and you get both. I don't know.
There you go. All right. Take
Okay.
care, man.
Love you.
All right, take care. Love you guys.
Bye.
Hey, let's keep
That was Keith Andrews.
Check out
Long-time
How Was Your
employee.
Day.
Longtime employee of the club, and good guy.
Yeah.
Always supported me throughout this whole pandemic. Helped me move shit. Helped me cook some of the food. He hasn't since lately because I won't let him in the kitchen because of the lockdown, but he'll be back to cooking with me, and he's probably going to help when we finally reopen the club and I want a restaurant. Keith is gonna be, if someone hasn't scooped him, my shot. Okay,
I'm gonna move right along.
let's move right along because I'm high and slightly drunk, and we got our next guest on deck. Drew
Yeah,
Grav.
that's
Also,
fast.
Drew Grav was a longtime employee of the club, another super loyal dude. Always full of great facts and good hugs and warm love. And I miss you. Hi, Drew.
Oh,
Where
sorry,
you-
phone was a little sluggish there for a second.
The what?
No, phone was a little sluggish.
Your
Sluggish.
phone's like-
Yeah, no, it's Zoom. I think it's Zoom that's sluggish. Looking into StreamYard, and I just couldn't organize that for today.
An all reliable Zoom.
So much
Oh,
work
yeah.
this week. But whatever, I fucking paid for it. I'm still using it.
Might as well use it up.
Might as well use it up. I've already got the pattern
Yep.
figured out. How you doing? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Slanche. You do that.
Sancha, Skol, Proust. All
I'm
the fun
German,
words.
so I won't say Proust, but it's all good.
How the hell are you?
Oh, getting by. It's
Getting
fucking nice
by.
today. That was good.
Oh my God, this
Very
weather
nice.
is. I swear,
my
this
God.
entire year of COVID, we've had the most stupendous weather ever in the history of all of
Short
Toronto. We had a beautiful no rain summer last year, but just enough rain so things weren't too crispy dry. And then a beautiful short winter with I don't know, how many days of snow? 3?
3, if that.
There was no like.
Here we are in March,
no
it feels like
Mageddons,
May.
There was no like.
No.
Meanwhile, it snowed in
Snow
Texas.
apocalypse. You didn't hear that
Toronto,
once.
Toronto, here we have weed delivery and beautiful weather. Cheers to that.
Yeah, no fucking shit.
I'm thankful of the weather lately, I'm not gonna lie.
There's more dispensaries than Starbucks right now.
Yeah. It's they're trying to stop them opening in my neighborhood.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
You know what, you can only drink
Queen
so much
Street
coffee.
is just land of the dispensaries. East
Queen
to
It's just-
west.
Street,
East
all
to
of
west.
Toronto, I'm watching it
No,
all
but
over
especially Queen Street, east to west is just you could count 250 of them.
Oh, the
you know that my old place next to where I had the little shop next to the club, that's gonna
Yeah,
be a
it's-
dispensary now. I don't know if you saw the sign.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm gonna
already
email
open.
them, I'm like, have you checked the building? I mean, the little shop wasn't so bad, but the electrical was bad. They better fix that. But if I see a sign up at the club, I'm gonna be like, yo, sorry, it wasn't me that left it this way.
That's
Dear Toronto building inspectors.
I left the buckets
Yo.
on the ceiling where the 2 big leaks were.
It's good that it wasn't rainy then this summer.
I'm sure it rained and the buckets were full of rain and algae at this point, but I don't know. Landlord's just a. Okay, that
Just
was
a nice little-
conversation. It's been a
Sounds
year
like
and I'm
rolling
trying
out
to
of
let it go. Fuck that place. Oh well.
I still remember. There's a memory, Drew, of you that's burned into my brain. It was right when they announced legalization, and we're standing in the back, and I can't remember who it was, some comic was like, "Oh, this is fucking awesome! Like weed's legal, like we can smoke in here." And then you just walk over, you're like, "Nah, it's over." I mean, it was over. It was just over, and I was like, "Wow, you fucking called that shit."
Well, I hope you were on shift when you said that.
It's
I
like-
hope.
Nah, this is terrible. This is done. You're like live it up, like it's over.
Well, it's just different.
I
I
was
like
like,
that
yeah,
I can
fuck,
go
you're
online
right.
and just order weed and it's here in an hour. Doesn't matter who brings it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
about
it's pretty
that.
sweet.
That's pretty
At the
sweet.
cost of losing every vapor lounge in the city,
We'll come back. I'll
I'd
just
rather be
change-
suspicious around police.
No,
Thank you
Oh my
very
God.
much. Can we make it illegal again?
I've had 20 years of that. No, I was very happy to not watch over my back for fucking once and just be myself.
No, we don't want to give the city an excuse to hire another Bill Blair. Jesus.
Yeah, but
Oh my God.
Fucking Fantino. Both of those
But
assholes.
I did find it interesting when we were making noise about yo, they're taking our smoking away. You need to sign this petition, and no one signed it. And then when the bylaws finally came in, they're like, "Well, I didn't know." I'm like, "My God, I don't know how many times I had
you paid attention.
hair
Yeah.
No, we had actually printed out like sheets for people to sign. Fuck it, anyway. It's all just different now. It's all just gonna be different now.
Oh, whatever.
I don't know if you heard me announcing though, but we got an East End venue on a patio out by Greenwood and Gerard, kind of close.
Oh, nice. That's
I don't
very
know
close
what
to
the
me.
venue is, but I'm not allowed to announce it just yet. So.
Okay.
But I did get that, so at least we know we got a weekly show coming back up, and they're big enough to distance properly, and yeah. Park shows
Sweet.
are coming. My God, I feel like if like comedy was heroin, and I haven't had heroin in a long time, and then you see the dealer, but you haven't got the heroin yet. Like that's how I feel about comedy coming, where I've never done heroin, but I imagine that's where you're like, it's there. It's like, just give it to me, just give it to me, just give it to me. No, you gotta wait 6 weeks. I just want it now. Like, I'm deprived. I miss you guys. Anyway, whatever.
No, it'll be good. It's been talking to a bunch of people about that, about what everyone, for one, a bunch of, I'm not going to get into names or anything like that, just a bunch of people we know who don't know if they're coming back, which I thought was odd because I figured they'd be the ones champing at the bit. And just trying to figure out what we think the landscape's going to look like. And I think the first 6 months are going to be kind of weird because it's probably going to be like a spitting war between the shithead edgelords and then the woke brigade.
Yeah.
I think
You know who's gonna get sex? I'm gonna tier it like I did last year. Were the comedians that kept in touch with me, who checked up on me, who like, just were there over the last year, or will have priority. And there are comedians who, I might let on, like, there's some like very well-known comedians that, didn't check up on me, but I don't expect them to either. That just like because of who they are, if Mike Wilmot shows up, I'm like, he never called me this last year, but if he shows up, he's getting on. Like, I know his love is there. I know his love is there. But
he lives in the backwoods. But we were just talking about like what we think the style is going to be like, and I think that everyone's so exhausted from this past year and everything that has happened during it. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be silly that wins out. I think people are going to want to see like absurd nonsense when they go for comedy. Yeah. Like everything else has gotten so serious in every other aspect of our lives.
Well, I'm thinking I have to bring my rant show back, Rant City. That has to be back. That, end of story. So when Comedy Bar reopens, and I say when that will happen, they'll make it through. And when they reopen, I'll do Rant City there again, if they'll let me. But we lost Vapor Central, but at least we got this East End venue where we can smoke weed there too on their patio, because it's not licensed. It's not licensed, so they can't say anything. It's on private property. Long story short, I've said too much. It's gonna be a good summer, and I'm not letting anyone like fall and get depressed. It's too fucking much of that lately. I've been drunk for a month though. It's all good. Not drunk. I quit for like I hardly 2 cane cans is not too much, is it?
Is that their motto? 2 cane cans is not too much.
Actually, that used to be Guinness's sales pitch. It had a toucan and talked to the toucan with the 2 cans. Imagine what 2 cans can do for you.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious! I had no idea.
It's also from the same point in time in history when they're like, doctors think you should smoke menthols because it cools the throat.
Yeah, it cools the throat.
It does, or that it also kills you.
Wait for pregnant women.
Or that if you use enough ivory soap, you become a white person.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go get my other king can of Guinness and plus my Guinness. Fucking podcast. Happy Paddy's Day, post Paddy's Day, Irish Heritage Month. I had to seize what opportunities. One day, our last show ever at the Underground was a Paddy's Day show. We never did the show. Remember? Fuck, it was brutal. Everyone just sitting around talking about the virus and being like, "Can we not perform?" I'm like, I can't laugh right now. Like the government just told me I'm not allowed to open, and no one's ever done that to me ever. No government has ever told me to shut down. I'm like, fuck, I actually have to listen to this? Okay.
Yeah, and it was like worldwide. Which is
Yeah,
even
it makes
crazy.
you
You're like, I
worry,
can't
and-
even go anywhere where this is
I don't know, and I figured zombies would have appeared by now, but whatever.
Well, that was the point in time when we were just seeing streets filled with body bags in like Italy and Spain. It was like all of the news that was coming out of nothing new was coming out of China, obviously. But like all the news that was coming out of Europe at that point in time was scary as shit. And then they're just like,
Scary here. I've seen too many zombie movies to know this too, where I'm like, it's coming. Thank God it never did. It's just only somewhat serious.
Ben, that's gonna get us taken down from YouTube. Jokes. This is all parody. This is all just character work.
we're simply discussing subjective opinions during a historical event.
Yes. Imagine it.
See?
All I'm saying is that I'm not
We're writing a
panicking
zombie movie.
until a real zombie shows up and I get to hit him with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
That's to me gonna be the
Then I'm
ultimate.
like, now we're living.
Hear that crack? You feel zero guilt and just go running and then.
'Cause at that
There's
point,
that old
nothing, everything.
I mean, I can live
so
without
dramatic.
toilet paper if I
Nothing
needed
means anything,
to.
you know?
I could live without
Like, what,
toilet
your bank
paper.
account balance, that's your debt, that doesn't matter at all. There's fucking zombies.
Zombies, right? You're not gonna worry about the rent. It's
No.
like,
You need
You're-
guns and food
no,
yeah, and a bicycle.
and a bike,
bicycle, a baseball bat.
RV.
You need to leave the city immediately.
Immediately.
All right,
Fuck
well-
out of the city.
We gotta wrap this up because I'm talking stupid.
We need zombie talk. We gotta split up.
Yeah.
the-
I fucking love zombies. Cheers, boy banks. Anyway.
Cheers, boy banks.
She owns his action figure.
Favorite zombie.
I have yet to get fucking action figure. I've been meaning to. It's just one of those things. Anyway, yes, the butcher zombie. Good. Land of the Dead, that one was. Anyway, okay. Enough said. I was gonna just say thank you for everything you did for me this last year and for being my friend and being there throughout this whole time. And I'm gonna make sure that this year is better and fun and that we're all, don't get this divide and conquer bullshit. This is fucking dissolve it
Be silly.
and have some good times. Get
Sounds
this,
good to me.
this world up. I don't know. I have to for my sake, so I might as well drag like 40 or 50 of you along with me.
I'm so looking forward to seeing people again.
Yeah, I won't rape hug people anymore, but I'll make sure this Christmas. This cured me of rape hugging people.
No, we'll only hug everyone who can prove that they're vaccinated.
Only
We'll get to hug each other.
No, I'll hug anyone, but there'll be consent this time. I won't force. Okay.
All right.
I
It's great
love
talking to you
you.
both. Love you too,
Thank
Joey.
you.
Have a good night. Johnny, have yourself a good one.
Good seeing you.
Happy Paddy's Day
Take
post.
care.
Happy Paddies.
Oh, that was Drew Grav, another longtime employee of Underground. I couldn't have got through this year without him either. Feeling emotional, guys. Feeling a little emotional. I think we should just keep this train rolling.
Go.
With our next guest, has also been a long time supporter of the Underground. Wasn't an employee, but ran shows and was on my stage in so many different forms.
And now she's with the Aurora Borealis, like she's killing.
Oh, look at with the backdrop. Ooh, I love it. Anjelica Scannura, everybody. Hi. Woo!
He's barking on.
Oh, I'm gonna hit my bong. Yay!
Oh, hit that bomb. Are you having a Guinness?
I am.
Damn.
I am. I am.
And I got my fun shirt on this time. I put on, look, see?
Fist me, I'm Irish.
It's a fighting, not fisting.
Oh, okay. Yes, I had the other fist in mind.
We need to stay on you.
Only girls think of that. Actually, whenever I show this to guys, they were like, "Oh yeah, like fighting." And every girl, I'm like, "Oh no, it's not fisting. It's all good." Fighting.
They're like the fisting thing.
Anyway, I'm feeling silly today. How are you?
I'm good. I miss you. It's nice to see you.
I know, it's good to see you too. I love that backdrop. It's really distracting, but it's okay.
Oh, well,
Your
it's
chair
great.
keeps appearing and disappearing. It's cute.
No, I know it's good because you don't. I've got like takeout containers behind me.
It's a good cover.
I
It's a
love
good
it.
Like an empty beer
I wish I
can.
ate some mushrooms before I did this podcast.
You've been tripping the
I'd
whole
be
fucking
like,
time.
don't have to say anything.
Like,
just-
where are you again?
Yeah, and know that it's a
You're sitting
schedule I'm
in a bowl.
enjoying. Anyway, okay, well, here we are, and welcome to the podcast. This is what we do, is we shoot the shit and have fun, and tell people how much we miss you. And it's Irish Heritage Month, so I'm just celebrating all month. I'm drinking 2 Guinness a day and many bong hits, and just
Guinness has
connecting
sent a cease and
people.
desist. They're like, we do not recommend.
This is
two
how
a day.
Irish deal with seasonal affective depression. And now it's like COVID depression on top
Yeah,
of seasonal affective. Just get high and drunk and go visit people. Well, we can't visit, but here we're visiting. Okay, anyway.
No, this is a good visit. I can't wait till like fingers crossed everything comes back to like outside shows with like where you can have like at least 50 people outside at a show,
Well, I'm gonna do my park shows again. And
Yeah.
I
that was
secured
fun.
secured an East End location where I'm not allowed to announce exactly yet, but I'm teasing people that I don't know. I think she said probably up to 40 with proper distancing. It's a big patio.
That's awesome.
We can smoke on it because they're not licensed. So anyway, that's it.
Honestly, this year has been good. I miss the club, I miss the underground, but I feel like this was the best
It's
step.
evolving. It's evolving. I've tried really hard to not let it die. It's
You
been a
need that break
struggle.
though too. Like,
What?
you need that break though too.
Okay, there's two
Yes.
couple things. Is like getting sleep, been wonderful. Holy fuck. Look, there's
Just
no
getting sleep.
no makeup except on my eyes, but like no purple under my
Yeah,
remember all the
yeah.
purple under my eyes that I had fucking makeup on?
Oh my gosh, I was running ragged too,
Okay.
and I was drinking too much, and I was out late, sloshing around, wasting money on Ubers. It's like,
Yeah.
Ew, Ubers,
You're like,
man.
holy shit, I'm saving so much money. Because I'm not just like looking around everywhere.
Well, I miss people and I miss hugging and I miss socializing and talking. Actually, other than in the show we did at 420 Cannabis Court, I think the last time I actually saw you was our last event ever at the club. And I have this clear memory of
Yes.
you
it was.
with like plastic gloves that I put out a box for everyone because we were like, what do we do? And like none of us have masks on, but we all have gloves on.
no,
that was-
we all gloves on.
Okay.
No, we hadn't had the mask order yet.
Oh my God, I think back to like how I was
You know I had
approaching
a
everything.
mask?
Everywhere like when I thought I was social distancing last March, it was like literally 6 feet away, but under a roof and without masks. And it's like, you idiot,
Well, now we know, but now they told
Yeah.
us, they kept changing it every month. They're like, oh, actually you should do this, or actually you should do that.
CDC
And then
said
now after
3
literally
feet or something.
5 months of lockdown, I'm like freaking out in a store if someone hits 4 feet. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Woo!" Like
Like 3 feet is
I'm not
my
even afraid of
my personal
COVID.
bubble.
I'm
Like,
not even afraid of COVID. I just got used to this bubble now,
Yeah.
like naturally.
yes.
I have too. So much to the like when I see people outside without masks now, I'm like, wow. Like I feel like I can't go near anybody. It's so weird how quickly you change.
I'm okay with people
If
with
I
no
only
masks
throw it
on.
on
It's just a
if I
wonder to
see
me.
like a crowd on the sidewalk, then I start to get like nervous. I'm like, oh, this is just a crowd of people like walking at me.
You
Yeah,
know what? Like
I
I'm
don't know why
proud.
I'm not nervous outside because there's wind, especially if it's a windy day. Definitely not nervous.
But just being in that tight
And if there's
space,
like a
I'm just
lot of
not-
people like on
not
Young
with
Street.
that right
I live close to Young Street and just going to the post office there's often like a ton of people.
Oh yeah.
You know, Dundas Square's right there, so we
Dundas
get to
Square's
hear the
always
protests
crazy.
every week.
Yeah.
Woo! Anyway, I'm just trying to live my life without pissing anyone off, and
How's that going?
cheers.
2 Guinness a day. No.
No, I never form an opinion about things until I've actually personally done the investigating of it myself. I don't believe stuff on the internet. It might slant my view a bit, like, oh yeah, okay, maybe we should wear some masks. So that did take a while, I'm not gonna lie. I was sanitizing everything and we had gloves for everything because we all thought at that time it was touch. And then it was got to be, no, it's really important to wear the mask. And they're like, masks are really bad. And I'm like, actually, no, they're not. And we still
And then
kind
they
of
thought
don't
there was
know.
something with like your eyes. They thought if you
Yeah,
jammed
and now
your
we have all
eyes-
these shields. There's some sexy shields out there.
Some sexy
You should
shit.
get, there's this one, they were like goggles, and it was like a nice contoured shape, and it was rose colored.
What?
You look good with that.
One step closer to Mad Max.
Basically,
Oh,
right?
I love
That's-
Mad Max.
Wait, when you watch Mad Max, you're like, why do they have these masks? It doesn't make any
It's because
sense.
of dust.
Because it came from the COVID pandemic.
No, it's because of dust.
Yep.
It's nuclear.
Yeah.
They're post-nuclear war in that era.
I like masks. I like it.
Some of them aren't so bad. I've got a simple one I like. I wear it all
I
the
get
time.
maskne though. It's like I've never used to get pimples on my jawline, but now it's like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, if you don't like clean them, it's ridiculous. Like you're like,
Oh yeah, I clean
Oh,
them
I
like
clean
my
mine
underwear
all the
now.
time. I pour boiling water on mine. I just put it in the sink and I pour boiling water on it. And then it's usually
I hate
clean
'em.
by the morning.
so much.
Anyway, we'll get it
I'll
back
wear
to
it, but
normal.
I hate it.
But I'm not gonna lie, because I live in such a highly populated, very concentrated area of people, I don't wanna get in a fight with anyone, fine, I'll wear the mask. I know what it's like to work service and be told like, here, you have to enforce this rule, and you're like, I don't want to, you have to. So I never really bother people who are in service asking me to do, hey, put your mask on. Sometimes mine slips down my nose a bit and I don't notice. Anyway.
Oh yeah, you.
Like, oh yeah, sure, sorry. Whatever, I get high and I don't know.
Oh my god, I love getting high and then putting sunglasses on in my mask, and I just walk around like.
I've heard, okay, and
Yeah.
you can keep this in mind, I've heard that a lot of movie stars have been getting away with walking around in public because they can put on masks and sunglasses and hats and no one recognizes them because everyone's masked. So no, it doesn't
You'd
look
have to be a
out of
hardcore
context.
fan.
That's
To, like,
I don't know.
recognize like their build. You're like, oh, that's his chest. Like,
Yeah.
how else would you know?
Right, well, follow them out of their house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, or that.
There's those
Follow
creeps.
another house.
Anyway.
right. You need dedication for
So
that.
for the
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
get
me.
famous, you're probably gonna wanna, think about that. I don't know. For a while there, though, we saw you all over the city when you were doing the 22-minute workout campaign.
I saw a
Yeah,
billboard the
Like
other day.
fucking building tall size billboard and like the big one in Dundas Square. Long story short, it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that was
actually, we put your name through Google because
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
that's
just like,
hilarious.
what's going on with Anjelica? You have such a unique name, and of course, like all your shit comes up.
It's
And I
just-
probably have different settings too. So we have like it's
that
a lot
just
of your
scared
dance
me so
stuff.
much.
But then like I noticed this article from this like and I'm like, oh, there's photos
Like the
from my club that I never saw before. For some show that's not in this city and giving you a good shout out.
Vancouver.
That's awesome. That they chose like clearly weed.
They were like, we're just pulling pictures from your Facebook. And I'm like, okay.
And they only pulled weed
Alright.
ones though. There wasn't a collection. I thought maybe you'd be with a collection. I was like, yeah, I like whoever did this marketing. Anyway.
I have a couple good pictures of me doing stand-up only. So, and that's like those are my
Never.
favorites. After 4 years, those are my favorites still.
You're a girl of many talents. I love it.
Aw,
Never
thanks.
forget.
I miss doing comedy. I've been doing a lot of Zoom comedy, and it's been fun. I've met some cool people.
Does
I've
it feel like
noticed that
crowd
it's
work?
gotten
Like, when
better.
you- like how has it been for you? Like,
Yeah, like crowd work. It's like, let's say there's a guy on his bed falling asleep, because that's happened. And then you're just like, hey, look at this guy falling asleep in his
Oh my
fucking
God,
bed
that's
over
hilarious.
here.
it feels like Hollywood Squares.
Hey, check this guy out. There's a guy that's like, the way people prop up their cameras is amazing. They're
Oh,
like, they're
That's
literally like,
hilarious. Oh my god.
That's how they're watching the show.
yeah, that's how they're watching the show. They've got it like balanced in their neck.
I have noticed that Zoom comedy's gotten a lot better, and I know that it won't end even when lockdown ends. There's a lot of people with social anxiety, even before comedy, that are suddenly getting more entertainment.
You know, there's gonna be
They
a
never
comic
would have
at
come
a
into a
show.
comedy club before, but
Yeah.
you know.
But there's gonna be
Yeah.
a comic that's at a show, and then he's gonna be like and then he's gonna go out and do a Zoom show outside on the sidewalk, and then go and do another show.
All I know
Like
is that
that's the way it's gonna be now. Well, I'm gonna
you
go
know
film
what?
TikTok, and then I'm gonna go, and then I'm
we
gonna
know
go to that
exactly what
show.
comics will be doing that, you know, little
Well, I did a Zoom mic and a live show the other day. The live one was unexpected and it was outside and it was very small, but it was weird because it's like live obviously gives you those like the juices that you need. But Zoom is like, you know, gave me the legs so I could run.
Yeah.
It's like it has its merits. Like I wouldn't mind. Here's the thing. Before the pandemic, I was running around to freaking Groove Bar. I was out till 2 a.m. eating onion ring poutines and just being drunk, learning nothing, getting into an argument with the bartender. Oh my God. You know, go home the next day, you feel like a piece of shit. And you're like, oh, but I did another set last night. It's like, let's cut that shit out. Let's do Zoom mics and then like go do shows and make them count.
Yeah.
No?
Really like have your shit
I don't think
together and hit that show.
I don't think I really ever saw that side of you. You were never ornery in my club ever.
I was
Just a
never
Groove Bar.
ornery in your club
Never,
because I'm
you
too
never
high.
Groove Bar, a different story.
You never got in a fight
Oh,
with
Groove
the bartender,
Bar?
i.e. me.
Different
You never
Anjelica.
acted like that. So am I lucky that you were relaxed enough that I never heard that even you may have gotten into a fight with a bartender somewhere else? And you
Oh yeah. No, I remember like okay,
trying to
so
draw out a compliment.
this is what happened. Do you want to know what happened? Okay, so fucking Tim Golden's at Groove Bar. He gets chicken wings. I go, hey, are those any good? And he goes, yeah, they're very good. And I'm like, I might get some, right? But it's 1:30 in the morning. I still haven't gone on yet. I'm like, maybe I'll get some chicken wings, close out the night.
I couldn't be here till 3.
So anyways, Tim Golden leaves me a wing. He goes, this one's for you, try it. Then he goes on stage to perform. While he's on stage, I go get the wing. I eat it. Bartender sees that, thinks I'm stealing the wing. And then he like starts giving me attitude. And he's like, oh, what are you going to do about that? You're just going to take that wing? You're just going to take that guy's wing? And it's like, I was like, what? I'm like, he gave it to me. And he was like, oh. And I was like, I was going to order some until you gave me sass. And then I was like,
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
all over a chicken wing.
It's awesome that the bartender would defend a chicken wing.
Yeah. Hey, you touch that man's chicken wing?
No.
I'm kind of like respect, bro. All right.
You must have been having a bad night or something. Who knows?
Yeah, no. That's
Or maybe she was a cunt. I don't know. Fuck. Maybe she was a cunt.
So are you gonna do shows in that park again with the beautiful?
Definitely we'll do the park again. Even as of now, people are allowed to show up in groups of 10. So I'll just tell people, don't mingle. Like pick a spot, hang out.
Oh, that's so hard though, telling people to like not mingle.
I can't tell you guys, and in the end, that bubble's gonna be there. So people are gonna be way more conscious, I think, of like, masks and not, I don't know. I think we had a good system with the microphones. By eliminating the mic stand, there's a lot less cleaning. So I would clean the mic on the side. I clean like several feet of the cord and then have it ready so that the comedian would have it, and it was a perfect system. And then they'd be done their set and there'd be no mic stand. And they'd be like, they'd have to bring it back where we would clean it. So we would switch. It was a perfect system.
No, that is good.
And I, as long as I have something that there's no table or no setup, if there's this lockdown, hopefully they'll lighten it up. I don't know. A lot of people are getting vaccines. Maybe that's going to help. Maybe not. Maybe
I hope
we'll finally get zombies this summer. Maybe I'll finally get to hit fucking zombie with a baseball bat this summer.
Don't wish too hard for that.
I'd rather comedy before.
It's been my marker of like not to panic until that. And of course, that'll never happen. So therefore, I don't have to panic this entire year. Okay, I'm silly and high and half drunk, and I've taken up most of this fucking podcast rambling about stupid shit with you. Fuck, I miss you, girl.
I like that. I know. I miss you too. Crazy the last time
This
we
is why I don't
spoke.
want to do Zoom comedy when I can just shoot the shit and 55 people will have watched it by tomorrow. I'm good with that. Same amount of people we get in the club. What a good night.
Is there anybody in the chat?
I know Johnny handles the tech because I get
Shout
too
out-
crashed and I can't handle it. And there's a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
people.
we got lots of people.
Holy fucking ton of people chatting away without us even knowing. They're all
What's
probably saying
happening?
hi.
Hi, Drew.
Oh, look at that.
Mario.
Okay, well, you can do shout outs if you want. I didn't bring my glasses up, so I can't see shit.
Linda, Neil's in the chat. Shout
Linda's
out
there. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda. I saw Linda on earlier, so that's
Paul's there.
Hi,
Pia.
Linda.
No.
Nisha. Oh, hi, Nisha. Oh my God, hi.
Greg
Who?
Welty,
Hey, Greg.
Hudson Rules.
Oh my God. Oh, and Matt. I mean, Hudson. Hi, Hudson. Cool. Well, lots of my friends there, guys. Well, cheers. Happy Irish Heritage Month, and cheers. And that's it. I'm kind of out of time. Do you want anything you want to promote that you got to talk about? I don't
No,
know.
I've just been doing
You
a
do your dance exercise thing every week. You should tell people,
yeah.
like,
So that
we're all
turns out.
fat now.
Okay, here's what I'll tell you. I teach fitness classes. They are ending next week, and then
Oh,
we're
fuck,
taking a
never
2-week
mind.
break. But I do teach a fitness class. If you want to know more about it, it's just send me a message. I'm the only Anjelica Scannura on the planet.
Yeah.
Very easy to track me down, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was nothing else but you on Google. That was pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
And also I'm gonna try to be running a couple comedy shows when that happens, if it on the roof again, just because it's like
Well,
all of
like
us want to
me.
perform.
I'll come if it's a night I'm not doing anything. I got a nice
Yeah.
apartment. I can ditch the dog. I don't have to bring him now. He's calmed down
Yeah.
enough. I can leave him.
Yes, Oscar. How is Oscar? Oh, I've been doing a shit ton of comedy and I've been posting it, and it's all stuff that I've written this year. And yeah, I do a lot of Zoom shows. I've got actually 2 Zoom shows coming up. I guess I can plug that before I go. April 10th, I'm doing Comedy Oakland, which is a Zoom show based out of Oakland. It's a great show, a lot of good people on it. And then April 22nd, I'm doing an all-female show for Flappers in Burbank.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh, that link is expired. That's a show that just happened, actually. So I thank you. You've reminded me to update it.
Follow Knauff on
But yeah,
various. Follow this bitch. She's awesome.
Yeah, just follow me. I post literally everything about all my stuff on Instagram.
Yeah,
and
you're great. So you did not quit during pandemic. You just kept her going. Okay, well, it's this now instead of that. Let's do this. I love it. Nice to
It's
see
yeah, it's
positivity out there.
yeah, you can always pivot and channel your focus and creativity elsewhere. And sometimes you don't get what
Yep.
you want, but you get what you need.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Good.
Well, you will be a part of like whatever I do this summer, girl. Cheers.
Awesome. I'll be there to help you in any way I can. Can't wait to see you. Nice to see you, Johnny.
Good to see you too. Yeah.
Slancha.
Gotcha. Awesome. Oh my God. Anjelica Scannura.
I just need to joke that I got a drink.
Well, we didn't have to bring that up. I could have just kept on. Okay. Cheers.
Nah, it's gonna be a good fun free screen for somebody.
Whatever. Okay. Well, is Bobby on there? We should just.
And then Bobby is not on one.
Okay. Well, then we can just chat for a few minutes while I get a breath, and I'll just tell Bobby we're ready. Bobby, are you watching? Are you listening? Oh, there he is. Never mind.
Hey.
He was watching. Woo! Or that, or he's psychic. I know that Bobby's psychic anyway, so that
What
was
was like?
that was an easy guess. Anyway,
Hey.
Bobby Knauff, everyone. How are ya?
It's connecting to audio now. I think it's a bit of a warning.
Do we have a leg? It's
I think
okay.
he's getting.
Is it me have a weed leg? Sometimes I think that.
Hello.
Hello, how are ya?
Good. Ooh, my lighting is spooky.
I love it.
That's okay. I'm gonna keep it. Oh, it feels like it's an old like 90s basic cable show where someone sits
Yeah.
into it like, hello
Hello.
and welcome to Bobby's
Bobby's
Reads. I go through a book I like for half an hour, and you have to because I paid for this half
It's
hour.
definitely called Bobby's Books. For sure.
Bobby's books. How did I miss that? Bobby's Reads.
Yeah, I was like, what? Dude, Bobby's bookshelf, right?
Okay. You got the book. Oh, well. How you settled in now? You moved out into the middle of nowhere, well away from us.
Yeah.
You settled in there, or do you miss us terribly?
Yeah, I'm
Would you miss
adoring
us more if you were still here, or less? I don't know. Is that too many questions all at once?
it.
Miss you.
I know. Definitely miss Toronto and everybody a lot, especially moving to a city and not really being able to do anything in the city.
Well, you couldn't if you were here anyway. Like,
I know, but at least I know.
sitting here doing nothing for 5 fucking months. Literally,
exactly.
it's so exciting to go to the grocery store and just take up an extra few minutes just to be out.
I know. I've been working outside all winter.
Yeah.
It's been brutal.
Well, hard work is good for the soul, I guess. Knowing you might have gone mental if you were by yourself with no work.
Yeah.
Funny part, just knowing you, I know you need things to do.
Yeah, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't need this many things.
This is a point.
Okay,
like,
granted.
You know what I mean?
I'll
Like
grant you that. I'm
I
for
was-
lazy physical work, but if it needs done, I'll do it and I'll last doing it. But I'm not doing it all day long.
Oh yeah. I was watching earlier and Keith was like, I don't watch the clock anymore. I'm not watching that many hours of the day. I'm like, you asshole. I am. I'm so happy for you.
Used to be up early in the morning on that, eh?
I'm up and like even when I don't want to be, I'm up super early. Like sleeping in, I can't. My body's like, nope, we're up. You program me Monday to Friday to wake up like this now. So
yeah.
I'm I hate saying this because it's so positive. So everyone's like, see, I'm like, I'm in the best shape I've been in a very long time. I have muscles where I'm like, oh, is that a growth? Oh no, that's a muscle. I didn't know that was a muscle there. I didn't know you could have numerous.
Lump here. That's
I'm like,
that.
oh, what's that? Oh, that's
Well, it's
from
good. You were
lifting.
getting a little pudgy for a while, like 2 years ago, and you slowly took it off. I can't wait to see.
Bruh, I feel like the waking up once you get that on a routine. Like I'm working Monday to Friday right now, and it's just the getting up every single day at like 6 o'clock. That even on weekends, like there's no sleeping in, no alarm set, but my body still is up.
I was like, hey, we're up.
You know what's funny?
Like throws yourself up.
Since you stopped working from home, because for a while he was working from home, so I had to be super quiet. I didn't want to, especially early part of the day, he'd be taping in the room and I could hear him. So I'd like tiptoe around. Like the day that he went back to work, I was like up at 9 and productive and like I could make noise, I could put on music, like I could like, and it was like the day and I was like, oh, I hate to like, this is why it's good to work not at home. Is that he even said like just the walk to work was great.
Yeah.
Just to
it
get there.
felt like normal-ish. Like
Yeah.
Kind of like I'm leaving the house to go to work kind of routine.
Yeah, and like
I don't know if you heard me earlier, maybe you could relate to this, but I sort of felt like if comedy and even socializing and just being in the public were like a drug like heroin, and I hadn't had heroin for a long time, but the dealer's right there. And I haven't got the drug in me yet, but I can like get
the cops
to it.
are also right there.
And I just gotta like get the drug off the dealer and then like I'll have a great time. I've never done
It's like
heroin.
Frogger.
you got an Indiana
This is how I
Jones.
feel about socializing. It's been so long that I'm just gonna be like, it's right there. It's like, come on, TikTok. Like, can you just let me hug someone? No, like,
I know.
It's a bad drug, is I miss it.
Well, especially since like getting sober, like interacting with people and stand-up was even more a drug because
For
it was
sure.
one of my only vices. Not a vice, it was a job and so many other things, but it was also one of the only things that I was getting high off of that was legal, not bad for me, actually good for me. And because I wasn't drinking and doing coke anymore, it was going better than it's ever been since when I first started.
You're clear.
So I was like, wow, getting so high off of a good set, and then being taken all that away. It's been like, okay, it'll come back soon. We got out, and then like summer, like we got outdoor shows. Okay, this is good. This is good. And then this winter, and then like moving and everything, but then not having any shows on top of that. It's just been like so mentally just like, bro. And kudos to people who are staying creative and doing stuff. I've actually started writing finally.
I was gonna say, are you writing it all down though?
Like not stand up, like other writing and like weirder stuff that I've always kind of wanted to. So that's finally cracked out and broke out that I was always terrified of ever even, because like I go to start writing, I'd be like, oh no, it's gonna be bad or people are gonna judge it. So people would be like, what? But you do stand up. I'm like, because it's this immediate, you know if it's bad or good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
You don't
With
have to
the
sit
poker thing, it's so much harder.
with anything else. You don't have to, with stand up, you don't
Always
have to
the edit
sit with
button.
it as long.
Just hit edit and change things later. Get it out though.
But yeah, but that's like where the weird fear is of like you have to sit with it longer and then edit it yourself rather than having an
The more you
audience
think about it, the more you
immediately. Like stand
Yeah.
up's this immediate, like write it. Is it bad? I don't know. Let's find out tonight potentially or tomorrow potentially. And then someone will let you know right away and you're like, oh, I can change it on the fly to potentially make it good, or oh, this is bad. Good, it's gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just have
So
to
you
change
need
your
the
mindset.
instant gratification a little bit, maybe. Is that the wait and the lengthy wait if you're writing the way you are now versus like writing a joke. And
But then
that night you'll get it, you're rushed that night.
Yeah. And then, but now I've realized even with my stand-up, I was starting to write longer and more in-depth stuff that was like harder to get people on board for if they weren't in the mood for it. But if they were, it was going really well. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like liking that challenge again of like, oh, this isn't easy. This is like, I have to get them again, where it's like you get to a certain point where you're kind of like, oh, okay, I know the mechanics of this and I know what kind of jokes will work and I know I can just keep doing these forever
Yeah.
and get laughs potentially, or I can start challenging myself and challenging like what I think.
I've seen
Yeah,
you
it's
do
funny.
a joke though 100 times and just slightly tweak the tiniest little thing, but because I've seen it so many times, and I'll be like, oh,
That's-
good tweak. I can tell the difference and how you have
Well,
like fine-tuned a singular joke over the course of 5-10 years. Some of them.
Well, that's it too, because I'm like, well, I don't have anything new. What am I going to do with what I have? And I kind of would always relate it to bands, because sometimes comics would get on comics for doing jokes too much. And I get it if they're only doing the exact same thing at every room all the time and it's not working. But if someone's doing something a lot,
Change it.
That's the worst.
You just have to slightly change it, try it out a different way.
exactly. So
Remember that.
Switch it around.
and when I'd start to go see a lot of classic rock, when you'd see them and they've been doing the same songs for like 30 years, some of these bands, they'd play it a different way. And I'd be like, sometimes when I was younger, I'd be mad. I'm like, I want to hear it the way I heard it on the album. I'm 15 years old.
Yeah.
This way. Guess
That's the
who?
Black Keys, dude. People are expecting to hear that like
Oh, I love
electronic
that.
sound, but they're more acoustic when they're live.
No,
But
I
that's
don't
what I
want
mean
to
when
hear
I
the
see-
album when I'm live.
So it's
When I
like
see it live now, it's like, oh, we're in classic rock. I'm like, oh yeah, you have to mix it up or you guys would get bored with it. And it's fun for if you're an actual fan of it, being like, oh, this is a cool new way. And so that's why I'd kind of take jokes where I've had for years and be like, how can I spin this a bit? Or in case someone has seen it a bunch, or just for myself, how do I change this part or that over this over that or
Yeah, just make it more.
or
I think you tailor your jokes to a specific audience. Like you'll look around and you'll tailor it.
oh yeah, like how in depth can I go with certain things kind of thing of like, oh, this I can go a lot in, or this I'm only going to tell these parts.
Yeah.
This they're kind of chatty, so I'm not going to tell this part that I need a minute of them to pay attention. I'll tell the part that I need them like. But that was also
So
just from, like,
here's a question I have. I was gonna ask you. This is perfect timing. So you put out last year, you put out your album called Rock Bottom, comedy album. And
yes.
pull it up. You got yeah. So we pulled it up. And I was thinking about this today when I pulled it up, like, oh, I should make sure we shout out your album because it's hilarious. And you know, a lot of people clearly are watching and miss you. A lot of people miss you, Bob.
And it's coming up on a year.
So here's the thing though. Do you think that you were at rock bottom then or now, considering the pandemic? Would you rename the album? Like, oh no, or is your next album going to be rock bottom?
Well, like a couple
Rocket's
jokes.
bottom.
A couple jokes. There's going to be a like part 2 of some of these jokes because of the fact like the sobriety stuff has only increased with how long I've been. So my observations about sobriety have increased. And just the fact that like, what a time to be sober. Like, why do I want to be?
I commend you, man. I commend you.
Why be fully aware now? Like, what a time to just be like, and I quit smoking just, it hasn't been that long. It's only been a week, but still that alone.
Still, I don't know.
Yeah.
For you.
Because I was like, I need to get rid of this one. It's
It's
just
packed
such
in.
a waste.
I won't let myself more than 2 beers a day. So I'm down to that. And I'm at 3 cigs a day, maybe 4.
I was going like a
No
pack a
takeout
day.
food. Ask this guy how much takeout food I've had in 5 months here.
Nothing.
Like 3 times.
I was going pack a day.
Up
It was
about
getting
that.
bad.
Mm.
But I eat well now because I wake up and I make my lunch and I make my
I think the drinking part and quitting, going clean off drugs and drinking, that was a hard. I watched you go through that, and that it was amazing watching you just. No, I'm gonna not do this,
Yeah.
and you did.
Smoking will be just.
And I know it was hard on you, but then also from the side, what can we do? We're like, oh, Bobby, hey, like, are we gonna drown it in sorrow? Or are we gonna be like, hey, let's do fun things? So I'm glad that you kept on that side of things because
Yeah,
could
it
have
was
gone either way.
it was getting bad, and I was just having mental breakdowns and just crying in the street, and just
Oh,
getting blackout drunk and just like, what's happening?
yeah. I
And then there's
remember.
just so much. I tried so many different things, and it wasn't until I read that book, How to Change. It's right there on my bookshelf because I have numerous bookshelves. I'm surrounded. Bobby's books.
This is my library.
Bobby's books. This book, How to Change Your Mind, and it's all about how like psychedelics are used for people with like addiction, mental health issues, suicidal issues, all this different stuff, and then it all like became illegal. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll go on this crazy acid trip. And yeah, so that had a lot to do with you, Joey.
Well, I heard
Because-
that you had some epiphany by a campfire one night. I wasn't there, but I heard that was it. Campfire might have actually been part of that trigger. Just being in the woods and clearing your mind and going, you know what? I'm gonna stare at fire on psychedelics and trying
That's what I did.
free my demons.
When I went camping, I was exactly that. I'm like, this acid trip, I'm gonna like go deep. Like all those, you know, when you're tripping and then that little part of it's like, hey, here's some thoughts you really don't want to think about, but
Yeah.
and you're like, no, we're gonna have fun and go outside. I was like, let's go. I was like, give me all the uncomfortable thoughts. Exactly.
Before we go camping and you be up at 7 a.m. making coffee for us all. You'd be
You're
in a
like doing a
robe
bowl.
and like gold lame shorts. I don't know. Fuck.
It was you introducing me to these drugs that I was just like, oh, this lifts so much off of me as a like, I'm definitely in need of a trip. It's been a
Well,
while.
I feel that Mother Nature gave us all the tools to just heal ourselves if we find a way to use that. And mushrooms aren't for everybody. And I think that there's probably times when maybe you particularly, I know you might have just took a little too much, but you made it back onto the sane side and you're all the better for it. But some people
And now I'm very like they're
don't
very
want to have that
sacred.
journey.
I think you'd have a good
But
time on it now.
being that like mushrooms are plants versus a chemical, you can't get addicted to it. It's so perfect for people trying to get off cocaine or
Mhm.
trying to get
But
off
it's all about
heroin.
Off
Aesthetic.
booze,
Aesthetic.
off anything.
But then also just for clinical depression, and so many people are so depressed lately.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've been microdosing. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm like, you know what? Life ain't so bad. Just have a good time.
I think I might look into that because I looked into getting a therapist because I'm like, I need one again.
Tiny bit every day, and it's I take enough to make the colors just shine, and that to take the hate off other people's faces. I don't know. I don't want to read that when I go out and fucking dog
Your
park with
face
the
is
dog.
they're smiling now.
And doctor wants me to be happy and in a
Who
good
wouldn't want
mood
this?
when I go to the dog park every afternoon at around 2-3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he's
Hilarious.
decided he's a little dog, by the way. I don't know if I've told you, like, it took me like forever to even get him to want to go in the dog park. We walked, when we moved in the neighborhood, we walked by the dog park every day, and it was just, it's such a big dog park. And sometimes there's so much chaos. He's like, yeah, I know what happens when big dogs in the pack. I'm like, I think he got his ass kicked in Cuba, but he wouldn't go in. And then one day it was empty. So I took him in and let him sniff it out. There was no other dogs there. We left. And then I just slowly introduced him. Like, if there's only one dog, I go early and like let him in, and he'd be fine with just the one dog. And now I can't, he begs at about 2 o'clock every day. Hey, 2 o'clock. And he starts like looking at the
Let's
door
go.
and sniffing the
And he's-
leash.
And he likes the little dog park now.
Okay, yeah. And then, so he was still timid to go in there. And he's a little bit big for the little dog park. They say 25 pounds or less, and he's a little bit more. So I just thought, you know what? I don't want you to be a little pussy little bitch dog. Go play with the big fucking dogs and being a little bitch. So I'm like, go on, it's okay, buddy, go, it's okay. Take him there, and he ends up, kind of intimidated when some of the big dogs get really aggressive, like how Fifi and Mars used to play. He would
Oh yeah.
slamming chests against. He's like, I'm out. So one day there was just too much of that going on, and there wasn't too many dogs in the little dog park, so I took him in there. And now he like, no, I'm a Chihuahua, and
He wants to be in
he
the
plays
puppy
with
park.
only Chihuahuas. If he's a Chihuahua in the
Oh my
park,
God.
he's a little big for a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Sometimes they turn around and he's like, it's okay, I'm a Chihuahua. Fuck, did I inherit it? A little dog. Gonna be a mini pit bull anyway.
No.
He's just a giant Chihuahua.
Those are his friends.
But yeah, his nervousness is gone. Like what you saw when you helped me babysit him, gone. It just he's just cool dog. Now he's whining in my room though. He wants
Whiny dog.
he can hear your voice, I think. Whatever.
And it's been
All right.
a while. It's been a long time.
Getting emotional about the dog. It's been a wild year though, like hurdles and all kinds of crazinesses. Do you think now that it's been a year, do you feel like, oh, okay, I already asked you this question. Okay, so did you answer it about rock bottom? Do you feel
She has the rock bottom question again. I think knows
Are you
the
gonna
stoner
read-
podcast.
Oh, I don't think I actually
call it
answered
a
it.
Groundhog Day moment?
No, I don't think I answered it. Well, at least then more things
That
were
means you need a
happening,
long kit.
but I was a mess.
Mhm.
Like I'm better mentally now. At least when things happen, I can deal with them. Like I still get depressed, still get sad, like, and the depression like lasts, but I'm dealing with it better. Whereas in before, I would be like, give me all the booze and all the cocaine,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna ride this out because it's like I'm not depressed, I'm having a blast, and then it's like, oh, when this ends, this is gonna be, oh, and then those days don't happen anymore. You know what I mean? And then it's just a lot easier to like get through it than now rather than then. But
Yeah.
then it was like a lot more
Actually-
fun. Like, where am I gonna wake up tomorrow?
You're actually going to get through it versus before you just avoided it. When you're trashed, you're avoiding it. That's why I won't let myself have more than 2 beers ever. I mean, it's not absolutely every day. I'm not saying that it's every day. Just this last few weeks.
No, but like when I would do it, I can't do
But
that.
you-
Only
I
2
would
beers.
remember you. I'd be like, "How many have you had?" You're like, "I don't know. I'm not counting." Your jaw would be working.
2.
Buddy,
We're having a good
never
time.
did that though when you worked for me. How about
No.
that for interesting? You would get so fucked up on your off time, but never when you work for me. Like I'd let
Well,
you have
because-
1 or 2 beers.
Yeah, because there was a rule of like you can have 2 beers a shift, and I'm like,
Just for
yep,
withdrawal.
I'll respect that. And it would like just nurse it all night, and
Yeah.
then I would never do blow because I'm like, I'm working, and that's rude, and I'm not focused on anything else but what it wants me to focus on. You know what I mean? So like, but as soon as I'm done, I'm like, well, woo.
Well, that's proof alone that even though you think at the time you didn't have control, you did. And you took that control. It was hard.
Well, that's what it was like. I would
Little
always say, I
things
was
like
like,
that prove like you never
I
were
was
dishonest to me ever. You never were, mean to me ever. You were never mean to any people around you. You were loving and sweet the whole time.
that's why I was like functioning. Because like even when I told some people, they were like, what? You were fine. I'm like, you didn't see the rest of the night where I would keep going and keep drinking and then get home. Like I was fun the whole time. And then at the end I would break down and oh my God. But no one sees that.
Yeah.
Because I was the guy being like, hey, everyone's having a good time. Like we're all friends and everyone's great. And then it's just like, because I'm trying to fill a hole that just keeps getting bigger. And these drugs just keep getting more expensive. Like, holy moly.
I know so many comics. I know you got clean before the pandemic for quite a while, but so many comics got clean after the pandemic because they have to. Like, who wants to do blow by yourself in a living room? Like, you can't have friends over. So I know so many people.
Yeah,
got
it's like,
clean.
why? Why would
It's
I-
interesting. Whatever. I kind of, cleaned up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, a little tiny bit. I'm not. We pounded beers at the club, a lot of beers. Like
I used to so
keg.
much.
There'd be keg parties where we'd be draining the fucking foam. Okay. So anyway, proud of
Oh,
myself.
the good old days.
Good old
Good old
days. All the crazy times.
Semi.
There'll be more
old
crazy
world.
times, but we'll do it, more responsibly now.
BC.
And that I think you probably heard, you were listening earlier, that I've secured a couple of East End shows. So we'll do our park shows again. So when you're back in town, you can.
Yeah, I have
Outdoor
I have a
stuff.
new car that works, so I can make the trip down, and I will be eager to.
Yeah, just
because
book a whole bunch of like comedy and tell your work, you're like, I need this week off. And just book a ton of shows and like,
I'm gonna
or
see
that.
who's doing outdoor shows and stuff, and yeah, try to just kind
yeah,
of
I have a feeling that might be all we're gonna be allowed.
and compact a few, because I have a friend who has a spare room, and he's like, you can quarantine here, and
That works.
but I'm like, Ottawa, Toronto, and there's so many weird things where it's like, how, without sounding, watch, as soon as I say this, I'm gonna get an email like, you're a piece of shit. It's like, how many rules do you sometimes I don't even know I'm breaking a rule, or sometimes I'm like, is that a rule? What do I have to do? How far is traveling where you have to quarantine?
Yeah.
Is it being on a plane?
No,
what if-
unless you're traveling out of the country, you're not quarantined.
That's what I mean. So I'm like, it's the same.
Or if you're in
Province.
contact with
No,
someone who
same
tested
province, that
positive.
doesn't matter. No.
Yeah, and I'm like, I only go to work where I work outside doing
Yeah.
construction with the
Yeah.
same 3 people. And
If
when
you don't
don't-
have any symptoms and you
Yeah.
haven't traveled outside,
there's so many things. It's just like, oh my God.
They'll
Fine.
they'll probably really like enforce the vaccine for certain things like travel outside the country though.
Oh,
There's
100%.
gonna be certain countries that
concerts
just not
and,
gonna
like,
let you
shit,
in.
man.
I'm worried about things like that, concerts, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe can I get like a balcony and not worry about, but like I have to prove it if I'm in the mosh pit, like.
You're like, that's the
I get, like, there's no
That's-
contact, and, like, yeah.
They put them all on one side with like a big block of wall.
Under the cheap
Well,
seats and the
I get it for
expensive
trust.
seats. It's
I
the
get it
back
if it
seats
works.
and the non-back
The
seats.
300s are all the non-vax.
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah,
the
they're no longer
nosebleed.
nosebleeds. This
Yeah.
is
Or they'll
non,
have the more expensive vaccines and the more expensive nursing. There'll be all the rich people who like opted to have their own private parties.
Yeah, definitely.
Bubbles of 10 and balconies of concerts.
oh,
Actually, we can bring back masquerades now, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
masquerade,
Bring back
masquerade.
masquerade. You can come out completely naked like you used to and just have the mask on. It'd be good.
Yes. You know
Can't
me.
touch your dick.
I like that. I like the sounds of that.
Dicks don't spread COVID, so I can't, Bobby, I can't even imagine that we used to run naked shows. Thinking about all that naked, eh?
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, that's probably one of the proudest shows.
Many
That's
shows.
one of the shows I'm most proud of all the shows
Oh my
that we
God.
ever did there. That was such a fun, ridiculous,
Yeah.
It's insane.
insane, and it worked. That's what I like.
It worked because like you guys could dance. It wasn't like a question of you, but you weren't Chippendales. You weren't
No,
doing these moves. Well, Phil Lucy did, but he looked hot doing it.
it was the
and the fact
perfect
that
balance
when we
of
started
taking it.
out,
It was
was-
perfect balance of taking it seriously and not seriously at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That right
yeah.
mixture of like, we're doing this, but it's not this, but it is this. But it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
this, and it just everyone who did it was like, I get it, okay. And I'm like, oh my god, this is working. Like,
okay. Do you know what I have still in my paraphernalia? The xylophone.
oh, that boy hit his.
Okay,
that-
so for
that the
people
first
who are
one?
watching who never saw this shows that we were talking about, it
Oh
started
yes,
off as Boyd Banks wanted to do fundraisers for this comedian, Joanna Downey, who had ALS and was doing a lot of fundraising for her healthcare. So he thought, oh, let's do a Magic Mike style show and we'll get comedians.
well, it was me and Boyd. We were sitting around with you. We were like, what should we do? And I'm like, well, I want to do a strip show. And then he's like, let's do a comedy strip show. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then he's like, I'm like, yeah, like, and we'll call it Magic Mike Night. He's like, let's do it. And he's like, oh, headline. And he was gonna hit it. That was the first show where he did that, right? With the
Okay.
xylophone. He's
Okay,
like,
so what-
I don't want to dance. I was like, I want to make up a whole routine because I was super into the movie Magic Mike. So I'm like, I want to make up a whole routine. I want to dance. It's gonna
So
be-
funny.
Yeah, Brian O'Gorman was on that show. Phil Lucy was on that show. Cal Post. And I can't remember the other. There's
I
that-
danced twice because I was so excited. I opened
we
it
did
with
a bunch
It's
of
Raining
them.
Men. It's
Then
Raining
we
Men. I
did-
had an umbrella and I was like,
Encore.
Okay, so the xylophone.
You
xylophone.
yell your
xylophone. Right.
Back to
encore.
xylophone.
Okay.
We'll
Okay,
end with this.
so-
We'll end with this.
So what he would do though is like a day or two before he would come into the club and we would figure out a song on his xylophone and we would record it. So like
Yeah.
Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever. But then as the time goes on, like in the third show, we figured out Iron Man. You're like there. Anyway, but what he would do is he would come out completely naked. with
Already naked.
black socks dragged all the way up to
Oh
his
my
knees,
God.
just black socks all the way up. And then he would come out with his dong and just like, and then I hit play and then he'd start whacking his dick to it. It'd be like, I am Iron Man. But the audience is so high, they don't know that it was actually, they thought his dick was actually making that noise.
Yeah, it was
Brilliant.
I thought it the first time as
Still
well.
have that is that gross that I have the xylophone?
No, it's a piece of history.
It's in the underground paraphernalia crap. His DNA is probably on it. Oh my god! But you had some great routines. I always loved your routines.
Oh, they were.
Lots
I'd worked
of
so hard on
dancing,
those.
Great costumes.
The last one
Yeah.
that we did, I did a cats one.
Yeah, the cat.
I did what was the song? It was
Cats.
Macavity. It's like
Oh,
McCavity,
McCavity, yeah.
And I had like the gloves with the nails. Oh, that was a blast.
Oh my God, that was so creative.
I've have like 3 made up this past year because like I'm like, I need to create something, but I'm like, where do I put these? Can't put these online.
I don't know when we'll do the next naked show though, because it's all outdoors. But
I know. I'd do one if we could have an enclosed outdoors or like.
We'll have one
That's
just.
go to the nude
I-
beach.
We'll
or
have
some
one
shit.
like
Yeah.
only Naomi and 9 friends are
Yeah,
allowed,
just go to the nude beach.
and then comic after comic will come in and just perform for Naomi.
The
That's
nude
cool.
beach would be a plan. Like, see if they can organize something there.
Shit, you know what? You're right. I wonder if I could bring the microphone in the.
And you just do a strip show at
And
the
if they
nude
don't
beach,
like it,
and
I'll
it's
just,
totally
like-
fine because that's what everyone's doing.
Everyone's doing
Yeah.
They're like, so what? We all took our clothes off.
We're
right,
just
Bonnie.
doing it with a little more style.
I like this idea.
Crowd's
this
like
idea.
unimpressed.
Does anybody else like the idea? Make a comment. See if anyone's
Yeah,
saying
who likes
yeah,
that?
yes to nude Bobby on the beach.
Who Bobby on the beach?
You can just play some Hall & Oates in the thing, and you can.
And then I'll go first
True.
and then just host the rest of the show naked.
Yeah, there you go.
You have to wear a mask though, just to make it fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like nothing on, but
Just a
the mask.
surgical mask.
Just the mask on.
I'll wear my Boba Fett mask.
Yeah.
That's all good. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Okay, I'm clearly like.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, this has been a
really
blast. This has been so much
Hi,
fun.
as
great
fuck.
talking to you, man.
I miss you and
Miss
I'm-
you too,
I'm
Joey.
glad-
Miss you too, Johnny.
Yeah, everybody follow him, Bobby Knauff and Cats. Listen to his album Rock Bottom.
Yeah.
Even
It's
though
everywhere. Music is heard.
we have like lots of stuff and lots more adventures coming our way.
Yeah.
Yay, I miss you. Oh, and say hi to your lovely lady for me.
Will do. Love you guys.
Thank
Much for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, I miss Bobby.
Yes.
He probably still heard that. No, he's not. But he knows.
He knows.
He knows I
Probably
miss him.
knows.
A lot of the watchers, I know you guys miss Bobby Knauff too. Who's a huge staple. Probably the longest running underground employee, comedy show
Yeah.
producer, emergency guy when I needed things, guy I went camping with, guy I, would pawn the dog off to when I needed a babysitter. Long story short, love that dude, and we miss him. But
Yeah.
there'll be better times ahead. Maybe some naked on the beach.
We'll see.
Fuck yeah, that'd be hilarious. Anyway,
Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and yeah, leave a comment down below of when it, or if you want to see one of these naked beach things. Plus, we'll get a merch link going as well.
yeah, and watch us out for 420, 421,
Yeah.
and some weekly shows in East End, and yeah, lots of stuff going on. I miss you guys. Stay safe. The home stretch is coming.